going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching. My name is Savannah. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. We are in The Sims 4 today, and what we are building is a cottage. Surprise! Cottage living came out, and so I feel like all I've seen on YouTube as far as Sims content has been cottage builds, but as per the usual, when a new pack comes out, right, we're all eager to get our hands on those new pieces and kind of explore and see what we can build, and obviously all the pieces are themed to cottage / country living aesthetic, so cottages just fit. So that's what we're building today, is we're building a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom cottage with an additional little greenhouse on the outside. So that's what that front little building is going to be. That's going to be our little greenhouse. And then the main building is going to be the actual house. Let me tell you, I was so incredibly excited for this pack to come out. I've been waiting since they announced it, and I was so excited, in fact, that I actually took a half day at work. That's how excited I am. I literally flat out went to my manager and I said, look, Cottage Living is coming out on the 22nd. Like, I know we have a meeting in the morning, but after that meeting, I'm gonna bail because I gotta go home and I gotta play video games. And fortunately, I have the vacation time, so I was allowed to take the time off, and it all worked out. So that's what I've been doing, is I left work at 11 a.m. this morning, and I've really been building all day, and I've so enjoyed it. I love when new packs come out, especially new like full-on expansion packs, because we just get so many more items, so many more objects, and I love going through them. Even though I've been watching a lot of the Game Changers content recently, and so I kind of knew what to expect, it's something different to have it in your own game and open it up and kind of go through item by item and see it for yourself. I was using a reference picture for this one, and it doesn't really turn out to look anything like the reference picture other than the layout, because I really struggle with shapes for houses, like, you know, blank slate, where do I put the rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I used the reference picture as far as the layout for how the building, how the house was going to look, and then where the greenhouse was going to be. And then on top of that, I also made this build a completely base game and cottage living only build. So I have uploaded it to the gallery. If you don't follow me already or are interested in downloading this house, my sim or gallery ID rather is SimplySavannahYT. It's going to be down below in the description if you're interested, and you're able to download this and play. I did kind of play test it, so I think the majority of everything works. I didn't spend too much time play testing absolutely everything, but like the sim can use the bathtub, they can use the toilet, they can use the bed, so the majority of the important stuff can be used. But yeah, so it is base game and cottage living only. And I wanted to do that specifically because I get a lot of comments saying how expensive all the packs are, and you're not wrong. If you are just sitting down today and this is the first video you're ever watching and you're wanting to buy Sims and all of its expansion packs, all of the kits, all of the game packs and everything, it's a lot of money. So if you want to get into it and you just want base game and cottage living, this is something that you can build, something you can play with. And so that's really what I wanted to do with my first build with the pack. In addition to that, obviously I am super excited about all the new things, so I wanted to go through and kind of use as much of those as possible. There's a couple things that I would have done differently, like for the greenhouse, for example. I think the Moschino windows, the ones that came with the Moschino stuff pack, work super well for greenhouses, but these are the next best thing. I like the little detail they have on the top and the bottom, so I think it works out well. But there's a couple little things like that that I would do differently if I was using all of the packs. I'm going through the debug menu here and just kind of pulling out things that I want to use. Let me tell you, one other thing I really love about this pack is the debug menu items. They're beautiful, especially all of the foliage, all the plants, the bushes and things like that. I absolutely love the colors and the textures of these items. I think they look phenomenal. So I was super excited to get my hands on those. And we go kind of crazy with plants everywhere as per usual with really anything everything I do. But you can see me kind of pulling out random items here and there. I love these bushes that have these like little coral pinky flowers. I think it's such a pretty color scheme for the outside of the building, like the tan with the outside of the building and then the coral with all the green. I think it turns out really, really good. And then one other thing we haven't even talked about yet, right, is the pond tool. So the pond tool is something that came to base game. So if you are not going to pick up Cottage Living, you can still put ponds in your game officially. And it works really similar to Planet Zoo, actually, where you make the dip of where you want the pond to be. You use the terrain editing tool to make the hole, and then you kind of fill it up with water. You kind of click on different levels where the water can be. Super easy to use, and really, really big fan of that. So we have a little pond outside. I didn't actually, because I completely forgot now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't put the little fishing spot, because something else that came new is that you can put like a little fishing spot, and as long as you go fish for certain fish outside of your lot and then you come back and put them in the pond, you can actually fish in your own ponds on your lot, which I think is really cool. But then I did that little square that you can kind of see in the pond, the little blue square. It actually has ducks on it. When you go into live mode, a few little ducks spawn and they're kind of floating and swimming on the pond, which I think is really cute. The animals in this pack, obviously, you guys, if you've followed the channel, you know I'm an animal person. I love my animals, and the fact that there are rabbits and foxes and llamas and cows and ducks and swans and alligators, I absolutely love that there are so many animals in this pack. And in fact, I spent a little bit of time after finishing this build in live mode, and like I had like 4 bunnies run across my yard, and they're so cute, and I kind of followed them around a little bit just to see what they did and what they look like. And I'm super excited. I'm going to be, our Let's Play character Kyla is going to be making a life decision and moving to the country because that's, you know, fitting with the pack. So that's what we're going to be doing in the Let's Play, and she is 100% going to have some rabbit friends, a chicken coop, things like that. And speaking of chicken coop, I know you guys can probably see in the back, I didn't actually find a space for it in this build today, but there is plenty of space off the back of this build. So if you do want to add it into your game, if you do download this, there's plenty of room to add it. And there probably is even some room for an animal shed as well, even though those take up quite a big footprint. The kitchen is what we're working on now, and let me tell you, I struggled. This is not where it ends up being originally. Originally, that little room that I sectioned off over to the right was going to be the bathroom, and then I wanted the kitchen to be over here, but I struggled with the layout of the fridge, the stove, and the sink. I've been watching a lot of HGTV. If you guys are in the States, I'm not sure if they have it in other countries, but HGTV is basically just like, you know, home renovation shows and things like that. I've been specifically watching Property Brothers because I find them really entertaining, but they keep talking about like your triangle in your kitchen that goes from your stove to your sink to your fridge. Like, you've got to have a clear walking space between those 3 things so that your kitchen can like flow efficiently. And so I was really hung up on that. And even, you know, looking at it now, I mean, it's not quite in a triangle, right? Because the fridge is kind of over off to the side, but at least you have easy access to all 3 of them, and the layout makes much more sense over in that corner, I think, than where I was trying to put it. Over on the other side, I think it was just going to take up way too much space, and then we were going to have to like squish everything else in to make it work. So I'm really happy with the kitchen over in this corner, especially because I can put the sink in front of a window. That's one of my favorite things when I think of like cottage or country living. A sink in front of the window looking out at the nature, I think is something that just comes to mind. So that's what I really wanted to make happen in this build. Let's talk about the wallpaper. I think the wallpaper is beautiful, and I knew instantly that that was the wallpaper I wanted to use in this build because I am such a fan of that like turquoise color. In fact, I end up changing, I'm going to change the kitchen to a turquoise color as well. I'm pretty sure I keep it as the turquoise color that it is right now with the yellow counters at the bottom and the turquoise on the top. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to see. It's funny. I like literally just finished building this probably about an hour ago, and I've already forgotten because it was one of the first things I built. I've already forgotten what I ended up leaving it as. But tons of little clutter items come in this pack, which I absolutely love. So we've got little jars and the little chicken thing where, you know, if you do harvest some eggs, I believe you can put them in there. Little utensil thing is a base game thing that didn't come with the pack, but then we've got that little like casserole dish that's on the stove, and I end up putting a little teapot on there as well. These plants are just base game, but then I end up finding like a little bunny that has like a daisy in its mouth, and I think it's just absolutely adorable. So I love the style of the kitchen. I love how it came out. I know we just got what was it? Country kitchen pack. So we have quite a few items to build with. And in fact, my next build, what I want to do is I want to make a build that uses maybe base game, cats and dogs, country living, and cottage living and country kitchen. Oh goodness, I'm gonna get those two confused. Yeah, so I want to use the country kit, cottage living, maybe cats and dogs, because that kind of has a few pieces with this aesthetic in it, and then obviously base game. And that way, you know, it's not a single pack build, but it's a limited pack build. So same kind of idea. If you only have a few packs or you only want to get a few packs, you can download that and use it as well. So I think that's the next thing I want to do, and probably do another just little small cottage. That one I do definitely want to include the animals with, so I think that is what I've got planned next. And then after that, I really want to try a tiny cottage, so I'll probably use some eco lifestyle stuff, just that way if you download it you can use it as a tiny or a micro cottage. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to build it as yet, but you can get the benefits from that. The idea behind this house here is that it's probably for either a single sim or a couple. Probably, you know, my first idea was to say an elderly couple, which it could work for an elderly couple. Maybe grandma and grandpa live here. So I decided on 2 armchairs facing the fireplace instead of the couch, because unfortunately we didn't get like a 2-seater couch in this one. We only got the 3-seater, and it was just rather big and just kind of too much, I think, for this build. And I'm such a fan of these armchairs. I think they're beautiful, and I love the color. It went really well with like the wallpaper and things like that. So putting a little TV up there so that they can watch TV, but mostly just going to be sitting in front of the fireplace. And I also put down that little cross-stitching box, so whichever sim, you know, lives here, they can go ahead and sit in front of the fire and do some cross-stitching, which I think is a really cool activity that they added into the game. And then in the bottom here, the first story rather, just kind of putting some more clutter items here and there, trying to make sure that there's, you know, stuff to look at wherever you go. I'm trying to get better at kind of cluttering my builds, but not too much. You know, I don't want to go crazy. And then we move on to the bathroom, which, to be honest, the bathroom's probably my least favorite room in this whole house. I absolutely love the kitchen. It's probably my favorite, but you know, I decided to go ahead and put a bath and instead of a shower, just because I imagine like it's a little bit of an older home. It turns out okay. I mean, it's not terrible. They can use this, like I said, so I did play test this, and they can use the toilet and the sink and everything like that. But it's just not, I don't know, there's nothing like special about it. There's a few bathroom pieces that I kind of always use, but they're not in the base game, so I kind of didn't really know what to do with bathroom like decor and like little clutter pieces and stuff like that, because I was missing a lot of what I normally would use. I am a super big fan of the windows like that though. Those are the new windows from Cottage Living and kind of stacked like that. I think they look really cool on the outside and the inside. And then of course, as I just explained, I like putting sinks in front of windows, even though this one's a bathroom sink and not a kitchen sink. In hindsight, I probably could have put a little window with some curtains behind the tub as well. But I didn't think of that until just now. So if you do download this and want to do that, that would be my suggestion, is maybe move that little shelf and lights onto the other wall and put a little window and some curtains and stuff so you could take a bath and look out the back of the house. I don't do a whole lot of detailing on the back of the house at all. I kind of leave it as is. And at first I was going to make this upstairs a single bed bedroom, because obviously you can see it was a little small. However, the base game bed, because there's not a cottage living single bed, I was not a fan of any of those swatches that I tried, and I didn't like the yellow and the bright. It didn't fit. I didn't like it. So I end up expanding it, as you can see here, one more tile. That way we can fit a double bed in here, which is why I say it could be for 2 Sims, because there is a double bed, and I absolutely love the little swatch that we end up using. It's not this one. I do change it to this one with the little leaves and the flowers, and I love the detailing on is it called a headboard? The metal part, the metal frame, the bed frame. There you go. Words today. The bed frame detailing on the top there, I think is super, super cool. Very, very cute. And yeah, so just kind of finishing up, like I said, some details up here. I don't do too much cluttering upstairs in the bedroom because it is a really small space, and I didn't want to make it feel messy, you know, like I like cluttered. I like watching cluttered builds, but I don't like when cluttered builds turn into just looking messy. Like there's just too much to look at sometimes. Personal preference, because of course there definitely are people that build that way and their builds do turn out looking amazing. It's just my personal preference that I don't like putting too much in there. So just adding a few little clutter items around, and I'm actually really happy with this little kind of loft style bedroom up here. After recording, I do end up adding a few more windows because I realized that I didn't add some windows like on the back of the house or the side of the house. So I end up adding a window just to the right of the bed, and then a window in the stairwell as well, so that it kind of bring in some more light to the back of the house, because I realized I had forgotten that. So now while we're finishing up here, we're gonna move to the greenhouse in just a second. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I've really been enjoying playing in The Sims again, getting back into it. Again, if you're not new to the channel, I have mentioned this in previous videos. It's something I've played since I was a kid, and I took a long, probably 2-year break and didn't play it at all. So I'm really enjoying getting back into it. So if you are enjoying it as well, please do remember, leave a like, a comment. It goes a long way in helping out the video, helping out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. I also just like to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know what I can do different. Let me know how I can improve, what you liked, what you didn't like. Give me suggestions, because I love hearing what you guys have to say and what suggestions you have. For those of you that a few of you have helped me out greatly, because you've seen me struggle with certain things and been like, hey, Savannah, by the way, there's a hotkey for that. You don't have to struggle so hard. And that kind of stuff I really appreciate, because otherwise I would just continue on struggling if nobody decided that they wanted to help me. So you guys are awesome for that. But yeah, so if you are going to be around on Sunday, we are also going to be streaming some Sims 4 Cottage Living. We'll probably be streaming around 10:15, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, because we're going to stream for 2 hours first playing Planet Zoo, which is my normal stream, and then we're going to hop into some more Cottage Living in the late morning for me. So if you guys are around, I would be happy to have you guys join us, hang out, chat, again, help me if I'm struggling, which would be great. Offer feedback, all of the above. If you guys are interested in following me elsewhere, I do also have a Twitter and an Instagram link down below. And if you are interested in sharing pictures of your own builds or seeing what I'm up to behind the scenes, you can join our Discord. That is all down in the description below. Wow, somebody's tired today, and it's me. Surprise. Anyway, with that, we are going to jump into some end cinematic shots. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk at you in the next one. Bye!